Town Branch and will be moved by Cllr Joe Ryan.
Good evening, Chairperson and comrades. Have you noticed subtly a change in language on the part of Fianna Fáil and Green ministers lately? They don't talk about protecting the vulnerable. Instead, however, they talk about protecting the most vulnerable. Well, I've noticed this, as have many parents of children who have a special need, or their teachers and their special needs assistants, and indeed the wider school community. And it's as if they've read a chapter on sets in a maths book. They've prioritised a subset that they will call the most vulnerable, and they exclude everything else, which, if you know your maths, is the universe. And because really for many children, actually the special needs teacher and the special needs assistant, it is their universe. And the Fianna Fáil and Green Party decision to reduce the number of children in special needs classes will disproportionately impact on small, mostly rural schools, where they're never going to get 9 children in a class, which is the target they set. Minister O'Keefe has described the children affected by his recent cut as being mild. He says that they're better off in mainstream classes. Now, let me tell you what mild actually means on the department's own Skullnet website. It says, children with mild learning general disabilities typically have a verbal and performance IQ scores in the range of 50 to 70. They often have significant intellectual and behavioural limitations as expressed in conceptual, social and practical adaptive skills. Deficits often exist in memory, attention or language. And these are the children that Messrs O'Keefe and O'Dea say they can cope with being reintegrated into a class where the pupil-teacher ratio is 27 and has been identified by the OECD as one of the worst in the developed world. Now, on Wednesday evening, I met a primary principal from County Wexford, and he told me about one pupil who he knows is in his care, and he told me, he said, that pupil could not be in my school only for the special needs assistant and the special needs teacher. And the news in the past few weeks that a review is now going into the number of special needs assistants will only further concern parents of that child and teachers like that man that I know. And it's obvious that our education services, which are skeletal at the moment, are being dusted down by Fianna Fáil and the Greens and the Independents for further cuts in the budget in a few weeks' time. And Conference, it's too late for many of these children at the receiving end of these cuts to say that Labour will restore these services whenever we get back into office. You cannot turn the clock back on a child's development. The place to right the wrong that has been perpetrated by Minister O'Keefe and with the complicit support of the Greens and Paul Gogarty is in the budget in a couple of weeks' time. The time to do that is now, and our children deserve no less. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Is the